Transparency disclaimer. I was provided code, and this game breakdown is brought to you by Evolve Terminal. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Nordegraf, and this is Game Breakdown, a video where I take a look at games that have been released and will be released. And today we are having a look at the final station, where we'll start out with the graphics as usual. The graphics are this retro style pixel looks. They actually work really well. They actually do give kind of a creepy vibe sometimes. It actually works surprisingly well for the game. They are really beautiful at times, especially when you're in the towns. The backgrounds are amazing, I gotta say. Even in the train area where nothing much is going on, you see a lot of beautiful scenery that I wouldn't even mind being my desktop, to be honest. And all things considered, it works really well for the game. The gameplay is separated into categories. There's the train section and the shooter sections. The train sections is called a simulator section, but it's more like I've seen it put as a whack-a-mole because it's essentially what it is. It's kind of disappointing because I kind of want to hear the story while the train section is going on, but you can't because you're taking care of the train and the people inside it, and it's so hectic and tense, surprisingly. Or when you're like trying to hear the story, you get into the story a little too much, and suddenly all the lights are out. You gotta go fix the train. It's pretty good, and that's pretty much it for the train part. It's not. Those sections are really short for the most part. They are just there to do some exposition in the world, although you can pay attention to most of it because you gotta take out the train, which is slightly disappointing, as I said. And that's for the shooter section. The shooter sections are the majority of the game. They are longer than the train sections, but still not that long. They consist of scavenging and for food, for materials, for money. So when you get to one of the final stations in an act, you can buy equipment, food, ammo, whatever. They work as you use the mouse to aim, and you gotta shoot the monsters on the head. It's pretty solid, except for a couple of problems that I have, specifically one big problem. You can get through any section, even at the end of the game, by just punching them and being very careful. Saving ammo is important. So I personally took a very careful approach. For the most part, I didn't even use my medkits, which are shared with the train, by the way, because I could just die and get back in a couple of minutes back. Although sometimes, for some reason, the checkpoints were way behind, and it was slightly annoying. But other than that, I could live with that. My big problem was with when you had to throw items at the enemies. Sometimes if you have an item on your hand and you want to throw at an enemy, and there's like something you need to grab, be it another throwable or like a key or something, or even if there was just a piece of paper and you're near it and you want to throw at someone, a monster, you grab the other thing. So you have this thing coming towards you, and suddenly you grab something else, and then you gotta back up or move forward to throw when you're out of range of this other thing, because you won't throw unless you're not in range of anything else that you can interact with. That was slightly peeving because that happened a lot to me. Even if you pay attention to if you're near anything or not, it still happened, because sometimes you're just walking forwards and you see something and you gotta throw it, but you're near another thing. That happened to me too much, way too much. That got annoying after a while. Another thing is when you have to fight enemies on ladders, you can cheese the enemies really hard if the ladder is they are drawn horizontal. You understand. I'll probably put a part of the video where it shows what I'm talking about. But if the stairs is vertical, like totally vertical to the side, I mean, you won't be able to attack. And I found myself a couple of times running into the problem where I was trying to fight a monster, and then I walked back and suddenly I was on the stairs, on the ladder, and the monster just killed me, and it was slightly frustrating. But it's not that many parts where this is a problem. For the most part, you can take if you're in the ladder, you can take them out with a gun, or by being careful, or by throwing something at them. Other than that, it's a straight up just scavenging game. You gather food, supplies for the train. Sometimes you save people to bring back to the train. Also, there's the hubs that I've said. There are, I think, 3 or 4 hubs where you can buy equipment and stuff. There's one problem that I ran into that was related to the guns. You see, you have 3 guns besides your melee. You have punching, and you have hitting with the melee of a shotgun, which is stronger. And you also have a pistol. There's no point in upgrading the pistol because the pistol is gonna get replaced by a rifle later on, and that kind of peeved me a bit because I bought a laser sight for my pistol, and I was like, I could headshot them really easily. And then I got the rifle, and the rifle is pretty bad. The aiming in it is not very good, and basically to kill enemies with it, you just have to hold down the button and just waste a ton of ammo, and that was annoying to me. But you also had the shotgun, which you can put upgrades on, and it's usually the best idea because you keep it throughout the entire game, although it has less ammo. But that's not much of a problem, to be honest, because at the end of the game I had more ammo than I knew what to do with it, and I didn't even buy ammo. I just crafted from what I scavenged. So although I barely used the ammo because, again, I was too worried about wasting ammo that I was just punching everything. Another thing that people might worry is this is not a very hardcore game. Again, if you run into a situation where you see an enemy, you can die and just get back to a checkpoint. Even in the train, you can just do restart level and restart at the start of the train if anybody died. Not a very hardcore game. Now let's talk about the story. The story is this: you're the conductor of a train, and you have to take the train from point A to point B, essentially. Throughout the course of the game, you are handed different cargoes that you need to take care of, and you meet other people during the shooter sections that you need to take to the station. That's the basic of it. What bothers me about the story, though, is that it never feels like they commit to anything. For example, you never know where you are. I imagine I was in Russia because I saw Cyrillic, then I saw Chinese. I was like, okay, we're in China, but it was in north of parts that had Cyrillic in them, so I was extremely confused. I didn't know exactly where I was. But they never established that this is an alternate universe and this is not really Earth, for example. They never do that. What you understand is that a couple of years ago, these capsules fell into the world and started turning people into the monsters. And they talk about like they as well. At the start, I understood that the monsters were they, but then later on, they gave this idea that they are not the monsters and that they are something else. They also throw out the idea that maybe the country bombed itself or something like that, but I don't quite understand. They never outright explain any of it. But they never outright explain what it is. My problem is that they're trying too hard to be vague. They never really explain. It might be this, or it might not be, and it's not that that's bad. It's that so much of it is that it can get a little annoying. There's only one certain thing about this game, and it's the ending. I won't spoil the ending here for you, but it was kind of cliche. Just say that. But there are so many moments where I'm just left wondering, is this thing that I saw in the story, or is this something else? They never really show. For example, by the end, you can find this guy who is stuck in this contraption, but I assume that might be the president that was missing, or the engineer who was missing as well, but they never outright say it. You know, you're just supposed to assume everything, and that's my big problem with this game. Everything's so vague, and it does make me excited to read discussions about the game, but again, it doesn't make me want to play the game again, you know, especially because it's so short and it's very linear. If you're looking for a more crafted story, this might not be for you. But if what you're looking for is an interesting world with a lot of mystique about it, this is definitely the game for you. Now let's talk about the execution. As for the whole package, it works really well. The graphics and everything craft this really interesting world, right? The gameplay is actually a lot of fun. I didn't expect it to. Slightly disappointing because I can't pay attention to the story that well during the training sections, but the shooter sections are fine. They actually do a really good job of building this world, except they never go all out on it. It's still a really good game, although I would say, bringing my next point, that it's not worth the $15. I know. If a game is worth or not, it's really a mixed bag. Every person is different, but personally, if you're here for my opinion, the game is not worth the $15. I would say it's worth more like 10. But so if you're gonna get it, I would tell you to get it on sale. It's gonna be a really short experience, very linear, and the only thing there that's making you play again would be the gameplay, and the gameplay is very short. So if you're looking for a longer experience, it took me for the first time it took me around 4 to 5 hours to finish. The second time, when I was recording it for this video, it took me 2-3 hours almost. It's a really short game. I would imagine if you actually shoot things, because I took my gameplay very methodically. If you are more gung-ho and you actually shoot things, it's gonna be faster. If you're not as worried as I am about, you know, saving ammo, it would probably be a lot shorter, since it would be a lot faster dealing with the enemies. You would restart a lot less than I did. So that's it, pretty much. I would suggest just wait for a sale where it's $10. Get it then. I would say it's worth that amount. Definitely, it's a good game. Slightly disappointing is the story, but I wouldn't mind being part of the conversation about what the story is about. Although I do wish that the game would take a few chances, just outright say what it wants to say. If you don't want a scavenging game with a small simulator whack-a-mole minigame at the side, you might want to skip this one. Anyway, this has been Game Breakdown of the Final Station. I'll see you guys on the next whatever it is I'll do on the flip side. Bye-bye.